Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Jeremy, the second day of FunBelt Media Days. Yeah, we're taking over the sponsorship of it. It's no longer the SunBelt, it's just the FunBelt Media Days. Everyone's here for us, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Why didn't we do that?
We should have.
Let's talk to Keith Gill. Next year, it will be FunBelt Media. Sponsored by FunBelt.
I have a Sharpie in my bag.
Yeah, we could probably change some of the signage.
We'll make it this year. Just retroactive. So today is the day, though, that we get to talk the Wild Wild West.
Yes, the West, the wide West, because it's wide open.
It is wide open. I tell you, though, the Cajuns, obviously, the preseason pick there in the coaches' poll.
Yeah.
I don't like that pick.
I don't either. And, talking to some people around here, I think there is some... a lot of people kind of share that concern. Lots of stuff going on with the Cajuns. Lots of great players that portaled out. You've got Levi Lewis, who had been starting at quarterback forever with the Cajuns, no longer with the Cajuns, aged out, got a new head coach. So there's a lot of new things going on with the Cajuns. I don't know why you would think automatically that would lead to success.
I think if we look at it at a national level, Alabama's probably going to be a champion. And, I think that the Sunbelt West champion will be an Alabama school.
You know what? I'm inclined to agree with that assessment. Both South Alabama and Troy, good things.
And honestly, I don't know if I could narrow it down to a single school. Maybe leaning a little bit more towards Troy because I feel like their defense is a little bit more intact, a little bit stronger than South Alabama's. Not to take away from South Alabama's defense because I feel that is their strength.
Right.
But I definitely think that the West goes through the state of Alabama.
Absolutely. I lean towards Troy too. But South Alabama has, experience, Sunbelt experience at head coach with Kane Wommack. John Summerall comes in, well, not necessarily new to Troy. He had been to Troy in another capacity before head coach, but now he's new head coach. But I think you're right. I think Troy has the edge over South Alabama this year.
The lone team in the West that I just don't think it's their year to compete. I think that they're on the verge of being good, but they're just not there yet, is Southern Miss. I think that they have all the right pieces. I think head coach Will Hall is the right guy. I think he's building a program, but 2022 is not going to be the year of the Southern Miss Eagles.
Southern Miss has a rabid fan base. They're big believers in their team, but that offense was not good last year. And now they need to find somebody at QB that's going to be their long-term guy. I hope Will Hall manages to get it all together, but you're right. This is not the year for Southern Miss.
But I do think that running back Frank Gore does pick up another 1,000-yard rushing performance, solidifying him as one of the best running backs in the Sun Belt.
One of the legit stars in the Sun Belt. So if Southern Miss has one thing to look forward to, it's absolutely the performance of Frank Gore.
And of course, how can we not talk about ULM and how we will get to hear from linebacker Zach Woodard on that Warhawk defense, as well as the best name in college football. I keep saying it time and time again. But Boogie Knight here to talk with us about the ULM offense.
ULM is coming in with a lot of great energy. You said it's really year one for Terry Bowden, kind of looking at the first year as year zero. Now he's getting his people in, getting his processes in. This year will be some growing pains, but ULM, to me, just has as much shot as anyone in the wide West.
I think the biggest question mark, though, in the West, Texas State. I think that head coach Jake Spavital is really fighting for his life there in San Marcos. I think he could possibly pull it out as long as he can hit that 6-win mark to be bowl eligible. I think that gives us an extension there for his tenure leading the Bobcats. But if it goes south, how south does it go, and does he even finish out the season?
You know what? I do think Spavital finishes the season, and I actually think he has a pretty good year. Here's the thing about the Bobcats, though. Every year I think they're going to have a good year, and something happens where something doesn't quite connect. This could be the year for the Bobcats. Lane Hatcher comes in from Arkansas State, might provide that leadership behind center that they desperately need.
I think he's definitely the key, and I think how he fares is how the season goes for the Bobcats.
Absolutely.
So without further ado, interviews from
Let's dive
across
right in.
the SunBelt West. Jeremy, your favorite team,
Yeah.
other than your Arkansas State Red Wolves.
I love the Bobcats.
The Bobcats are here with us as Jordan Revels, linebacker, and offensive lineman Kyle Urgel.
Yeah, it's good.
Man, look at that.
You did it.
Nailing it.
Yep.
They join us on the FunBelt Podcast. Welcome in, guys. Kyle, I got to start off. You come into the season one of the top 20 offensive line prospects for the NFL. Well, what keeps driving you, man, to be number 19 and 18 and then number 1?
To be number one, I think that if you look at that entire list, you look at all the guys on there, they're all Power 5 schools. I was the only Group of 5 player on there, lucky enough to be on there. It wasn't luck, really. I worked so hard for that. I put everything I have into this, and I'm just going to continue to put everything I have into it just until next year, right? And it's going to show in about 6 months what the results are going to be. I have a great belief in myself and my teammates around me. I think we're going to do some really good things personally and team-wise. It's really cool to be on that list.
New quarterback there behind you in Lane Hatcher. What have you seen out of him as he comes in from Arkansas State to take over at the Bobcats?
Relentless work ethic. That guy is a grinder. A lot of people look at that position, whoever it is back there, whether it be Ty or him, they just work, both of them work really hard, right? But Lane especially, he's a guy that, you can kind of rally around because, he puts in that work and he works harder than a lot of people in that building. But it's awesome to be around a guy like that.
So the Bobcats, coming off maybe a disappointing year last year. This year, it seems like it could be the year for the Bobcats. What's different about this year's Bobcats versus last year's Bobcats?
I just feel like we're 8 steps ahead mentally, and the difference between last year and this year was a lot of mental errors. We hurt ourselves. That's where everybody on the field. And I just feel like everybody got that understanding. So we're like, we can't afford no errors or no mistakes. So everybody got to be on point mentally. So I feel like that's just the greatest step I've seen since the season, just mentally.
I think culture. I think our culture. Yeah. Our culture's changed so much over the past, 8 months since the season, since our last game actually at Arkansas State, and I think just developing that blue-collar mentality, being able to just fall back on your training when, stuff gets tough, right? Tough people do tough things, right? And I think we're a bunch of guys that are willing to do the tough thing, and I think we've developed that mentality through the off-season, and it's going to show for sure this season.
Back-to-back G5 games to open the conference, traveling out to Nevada for the opener, and then FIU. How big is that you're able to kind of help advance the SunBelt Conference as a whole, knowing that you have 2 big games that are huge?
I think it's really cool, going out of conference games, but they're still G5 games, right? So it's a big thing for us to put on for the SunBelt, put on for Texas, and we're the only team in Texas in the SunBelt, so it's also really cool for that too. And being able to show what we got, right? Going out there in the Mountain West Conference and playing Nevada, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be really good.
So Baylor was a good game last year. It was just a fun game to watch. Do you feel like you guys learned any lessons from that big stage?
I feel like when you see we go against a bigger opponent, it's no mental errors. You can't have no mental errors. You can't have no mistakes, and that's buzz, flags, anything. I just feel like that we limit that this year. And I'm not telling what happened.
Clean football for 60 minutes is what we got to do to have a shot versus those big Power 5 teams, right?
Did you see the new requirements set for offensive linemen that was being presented earlier today?
No, I did not.
So there hasn't been any discussion in the offensive line room.
No, I didn't hear about it. It was probably like they changed the cut rules for the 3rd time.
I think it's
pretty much no below the waist unless you're in the tackle box, touching the tackle. But if you're inside the tackle, as long as you front engage the guy inside the tackle box, you're not going to get cut unless you're inside the tackle box by guys. You just got to call timeout in the middle of the play and make sure everyone's lined up right. Measure everything, it's yardage.
We do those presentations every beginning of camp. You kind of go over the rules and, cut rules are like one of the biggest topics, it changes. I feel like every year, like last year, like you can do 10 and 2 or something, and then it's in between that, and then it changes to this. But it's just you gotta adapt. You just gotta adapt in this world with it. So really good.
It sounded real complex. did it not?
Like I said, you got to call timeout, got to measure.
Oh my God.
It's a good thing you can always hit the start button and pause.
Sure,
Like,
why
you can't
not?
do that.
Yeah, you can't do that.
So, guys, as you kind of look around the SunBelt Conference, do you feel that this league has really kind of stepped up from when y'all came in to it to where it is today?
Yeah, I feel like it really stepped up, whether that's new talent coming to the SunBelt, whether that's teams coming to the SunBelt. I feel like it's growing and the talent is getting crazy and it's getting a lot tougher.
Yeah, you know, it's my second year in the SunBelt, so I kind of just got my toes wet last year. But it's been awesome, you know, seeing the league expand. We got four new teams, and I think it's good for the league, right? Why not, right? Put some fresh blood into it, expand the conference, make it as big as possible. It's always fun for the guys to not play the same teams every year, you know. But I think it's cool that these teams are coming up and stepping up to the plate and entering the SunBelt. I think it's going to be really fun.
Either one of you guys have a game specifically circled on the schedule?
Every game is a big game. Every game is an important game.
Coach is going to like hearing that.
The next one.
So, Kyle, how did you wind up from Toronto to San Marcos? I love some San Marcos, but that's not the first place that I think a dart would even hit when you throw it at the States.
Yeah, you know, I was just an under-recruited kid out of Canada. I had a late offer from North Dakota. I played really well for myself in North Dakota. I did what I had to do there, and then I had a chance to enter the portal, and I did. And I had a bunch of offers, you know, coming out, and my recruiting picked up in Texas, strangely enough, like more than anything. Like I was talking to pretty much every Texas school, and then I just really jived with the coaching staff. You know, started with Coach Spav, and then down with the guys that I'm going to be around with every day, right? And I think they did a really good job recruiting me. I wanted the opportunity to come in and help change this place, and you know, I think I'm doing that. I think I'm going to be able to do that, and it's going to show again this year. And being able to play with guys like this every day, it's awesome. You know, relationships and bonds that I'll have for a lifetime. I'll never be able to forget these guys, and I'll always have a guy to call when I need to call someone and anyone on that team.
How great has it been being here at Media Day where you get to hang out with some other guys from around the league that you might not necessarily always get to talk to?
Yeah, it's cool, you know, seeing them, how they carry themselves around the big crowd, and you kind of watch how guys, you know, interact with other people, you know, it's cool.
It's an exciting experience that, you know what I'm saying, it don't happen often. It's really once every 4 years for one person, you feel me? So I just feel like it's exciting. Like he said, you kind of see how people carry themselves, kind of see how people interact, and it's been a great experience.
We got him.
We appreciate y'all coming, and Viva la Bobcats.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Carlton, you are also the lone representative for the SunBelt for the Butkus Award. What was that like to be on that list? It's a pretty big list.
Oh yeah, that's an amazing honor. You know, I can't really put it into words, but I'm just grateful. You know, I'm looking forward to this season, and hopefully I can actually bring that home.
Also, all the focus last year on the Troy defense, because that was really what kind of carried the Trojans. But on the offensive line, tell me, what are you seeing early on out of that Trojan offense?
Competition, man, competitive nature. You know, we brought in a lot of junior college guys to breed competition in the room. And, you know, with the coaching shift and everything, I think our mentality has changed within that room. We're a lot more aggressive, a lot more tenacity in that room. And I think it's gonna show in our play style this fall.
New head coach John Sumter comes in, going to take over the play calling. What have you seen early on of what the identity of this Trojan offense is going to be?
It's a physical offense. You know, we're moving away from what a lot of college football is now, which is a lot of the spread personnel, and we're going to put 12 and 21 personnel on the field, and we're going to run the ball. And I'm sure my coaches don't have a problem with me saying that, because I mean that's just who we're going to be, and that's what teams are going to know us to be.
You know, when I think of Troy, I always think of being tough in the middle. Big offensive lineman, big defensive lineman.
Right.
How has Troy become that sort of SunBelt school that seems to churn out bigs every year?
Yeah, it's our work ethic, man. We've been blessed with an amazing strength staff down there for a couple years now, and our gains and our size and our strength, I think it's unmatched. We've always had a great strength and conditioning program at Troy University. As far back as you want to look, we've had an amazing program down there in regards to strength and conditioning. So I think that helps us out a ton.
And great facilities too, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Tibbs, are you okay?
I'm great.
All right, got the cough there. So this year, you're in I call it the wide west. Anybody can win it. But I run a website called Hellraiser. I have Troy winning the West. What do you think?
I like that prediction.
you know what we think. We're a little biased, but I think the SunBelt as a whole is going to be an amazing league this year. The realignment that we have, the teams that we have, the competitiveness that we have. The SunBelt is making a name for itself as one of those top tier conferences.
So you guys came out from the East, which, let's admit it, the East is a grinder.
Yeah.
How is the transition going from the East, playing all those really tough SunBelt teams, to come to the West where there's a lot of teams that are still trying to find their identity?
We look at it as, there's just another team on our schedule. We don't want to put one game ahead of the other. Like, well, this team is better than this team, maybe on paper, but we still have to play. I go out there and play those games.
Hey, if there's anything we've learned from college football these past couple of years, anything can happen on any given Saturday. So, like he said, we take every game serious. We don't put one opponent ahead of the other. We focus on that week and what's ahead of us.
So is it useless for me to ask you if you've circled any one game on the calendar?
I will say this. Everybody knows that we're circling that first one. And, not just because it is our first one and it's important to get that momentum started, but we know what type of game that is. We know what type of game that's going to be going into Ole Miss, and I think it's going to be a tone setter for this new program that we're ushering in.
Whenever you play those games, obviously you want to win it for Troy, win it for yourself, but do you also kind of beat your chest and say, look what we did for the SunBelt in those type of games?
I do, definitely. Every time that we win these types of games, or App State wins these types of games, they've been known to do it over the years, Louisiana, Coastal, it just makes our whole conference look better. It gives us more prestige about ourselves, and like you said, it makes the whole conference look good.
NIL.
That's Carlton. Yeah, that's a Carlton question.
Tell me about some NIL deals and what you got going on.
I have a few things. I actually recently posted for Jones Medical Supply. They are basically selling oxygen to people. So I had a few encounters with other little companies, but nothing too big. I'll try to keep it a little low key, just because we're nowhere in the smaller market, of course.
Do you do the Carlton dance?
No, you're ruining the reputation.
I think you did, didn't you? Didn't you post one?
I do not do the dance for the NIL, but I have done it before on camera, just for the media.
We got to find this video. I don't know where it is. It might be on the dark web, but we got to find this video.
I'm pretty sure Adam still has it, actually.
I'm sure he does.
Adam still has it.
So, new coach, John Summerall, how you like him?
Oh, he's pretty good. He was there when we first got there. So
okay, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, so he's welcome back Otter. Yeah,
most definitely.
We have a little bit of experience with him, and we have experience in that Neil Brown type of era program, and it reminds me a lot of those years, those 2017, 2018 years. So I think the hype around the program is going to be good. I think our fan base is going to be really excited. We're excited. We're ready to play some football, so it's going to be really good.
Guys, we thank you as always for joining the FunBelt Podcast. We're anxious to see what the Troy Trojans can do for us this year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We appreciate y'all having us.
We're joined by the governor of the SunBelt Conference. That is South Alabama head coach Kane. Wommack. Coach, how goes? Your team's got to be one of the dark horses in the wide open West of the SunBelt Conference.
Yeah, everybody's been talking about those preseason polls and all those things. I tried, despite my best efforts, I picked us dead last. So, trying to get us. Yeah, that's exactly right. So, my buddy John Summerall just walked by, and we have a good little. Obviously, we got the on-field rivalry, but good friends that like to razz each other. So he's booing me behind you guys right now, but. I think in some ways it's great to be recognized by your peers, right? That maybe you're doing some things in the right direction. We are significantly better as a football team in all aspects. Our talent is better. culture, roster, schematically, all those things, just even the expectation in the building going into year 2 is significantly better. What that means, I'm not sure yet. But I think the thing that we have to be focused on is you look at last season and against the best teams in our league, we really kind of weathered the storm to the fourth quarter and then ultimately lost because I think their team expected to win. We were happy to be there. We have to start embodying the properties of a storm ourselves. We got to start inflicting our force and our will onto other people and having an expectation over a belief. That's an important aspect to winning and building success in our program particularly.
When we talk about building a program.
Yeah.
So do you feel that you can kind of check the boxes that you won some conference games last year? You had a high draft pick in the NFL there at Jalen Tolbert. Do you feel that you're still progressing and building the program that you have envisioned?
Yeah, I think I don't think that ever stops. You know what I mean? I think in year 1 there are so many things that have to happen, and every expectation, vision, standard, all those things that you have for a program as a head coach have to come out of your mouth, right, and then be reinforced and held accountable every single day. So going into year 2, it's rewarding to start seeing other people anticipate and embody the characteristics that I have for our program. That's really fun. We're going to continue to stay on those things and then be about our process. I don't one time, and I never will, go in front of our players and say, these are our team goals for this season. We want to win the SunBelt. We want to go to a bowl game. We want to do this. We just want to keep narrowing the margin of error, right? Because if you narrow the margin of error, then you're going to operate within the margin of success, right? And whether you show up and you are hitting on all cylinders that day, or whether things are kind of going back and forth, we call it Murphy's Law, right? Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Murphy's going to show up in a game, and we got to be ready to anticipate Murphy and work within that margin of error.
Well, helping you confront and overcome Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
Who can we expect from South Alabama that maybe we haven't heard of, but you see as somebody who might become a star on the gridiron?
Well, certainly you look to the quarterback position, right? We're really excited about Carter Bradley coming in as a transfer from Toledo. One of the most gifted arm talents that I've ever been around. The only guy that I would say rivals him that I've been around is Mike Penix, who was our quarterback at Indiana. Truly gifted arm. Excited about him. Desmond Trotter has come leaps and bounds from even where he was a year ago, and certainly has experience as a starter in the SunBelt. But you talk about new faces outside of that. We're really excited about LaDamian Webb, the running back that he was Mr. Football in the state of Alabama. Went to Florida State, kind of got out from COVID, some of those scares, and, everybody handled that situation in their own way. But for us, having an explosive playmaker out of the backfield is really an exciting thing because we did not run the ball anywhere near what we needed to be a consistently winning football program. So that's great. Our tight ends are in a great position. Lincoln Sepsic had 40 catches last year. On top of him, DJ Thomas is coming from Ole Miss. Those are two very gifted tight ends at the Group of 5 level, and so excited about some of the mismatches they'll bring to the table as well.
One of the themes for the SunBelt this year, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it's been rivalry. That when the new teams coming in, it's built new rivalries. But there's some also really good old rivalries in the SunBelt, or current rivalries. One is between South Alabama and Troy, but you come in, you seem to have a pretty good relationship with John Summerall, the new head coach of Troy.
Yeah, John and I have known each other for quite a long time. I think that's the fun thing about this profession is you have these rivalries, and I want to beat John's tail, inside and out, right? But we also, it was funny, we didn't plan it, but we both ended up in the same vacation place this year in Fairhope, Alabama. We stayed at the Granny Hotel, ran into each other, our families are hanging out, we're having a good time. So that is the neat aspect to that rivalry particularly. And then you look at the regional rivalries, I think Keith Gill and the staff of the SunBelt Conference have done a tremendous job of positioning our conference to be the premier Group of 5 league. And so, you look at some of the realignments, and some people were weathering the storm and trying to hold people off, and other people were aggressive, right? And I think Keith and the rest of our staff for the SunBelt were aggressive and put ourselves in a great position.
The season against FCS,
yeah.
How does that kind of set the tone for your season?
Well, I think it's an interesting dynamic. We talk about building consistency in our program, right? It's the number one thing that South Alabama has not had. Think years back, we've had big wins. My first ever game as a defensive coordinator at South Alabama in 2016 was Mississippi State. Beat them 21-20. Then 2 weeks later, we're playing Nicholls State at home and beat them in double overtime. But it takes us double overtime and a goal line stop to do it. That inconsistency is what we have to start establishing, regardless of who we play, regardless of how we feel, just being about our process and working within that margin of error that will allow us to be successful, no matter who we face.
Just talking to you and saying, you were talking about margin of error.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like you feel like last season was a result of not meeting that challenge of margin of error.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think so. You think about we were in close games against the best teams in our league. We missed a field goal with 40 seconds left to lose 18-20 to Louisiana. Double overtime against Coastal Carolina. And the list goes on and on. But expectation is more powerful than belief. And I use the example of the 2016, FIFA World Cup, right? The slogan was, "I believe that we will win," right? For the USA team, and then we got our butts kicked by Germany, right? Expecting to win is more powerful than believing that you can win, or just being happy that you're in that moment. And that's what our team has to do. We have to start setting an expectation, being those moments, and then capitalize.
Leo, Jack fans, we'll definitely cheer for the Governor this upcoming season.
Thanks. I do appreciate that, guys, and it's fun hanging out with you guys, and really fun just what you guys do for the SunBelt. I think we're putting ourselves in position to capitalize on all the great things that we're doing as a league, and you guys are a big piece of that.
Well, quite frankly, Keith Gill said the SunBelt is rising, and Tibbs and I are rising with them.
There you go.
Yeah. Or we're just full of here.
That's pretty good. All right.
The Jags join the FunBelt Podcast now as receiver Jalen Wayne and cornerback Darrell Luter. First team All-Sunbelt this year, second team All-American last year, 21 tackles, 4 interceptions. No wonder the Jags defense was so good. Tell me about that Jags defense and how it's going to look this upcoming season.
The defense was, we're real good. It's all about Swarm D. That's our motto. That's our standard. It's all about LEO with us. Loving each other. With our defense, I feel like we just gotta have that mindset and just come with it this season. Everybody be locked in. Last year we were more worried about weathering the storm, but we plan on definitely being a storm this year. So.
The SunBelt West is just so wide open, and I really think it's going to come down to actually the offense more than the defense there. Jalen, you're still right there in your backyard. Y'all lose the other Jalen from last year. How do you see kind of stepping up in that offensive role to carry that Jags offense again?
I feel like that's going to be one of the biggest things for our offense is me just stepping up and making sure I come and take on the load that he had last year. But that's just kind of the role that we've been having. He stepped up in the role last season when KB left, and now I got to step up in his. So that's just how I'm going to attack it every single day, and I just got to stay on my younger guys because we're kind of young in our room right now. But we got a lot of ability, so it should be an easy task. But offensively, we got a lot of returning experience on the O-line, got a veteran quarterback and a new quarterback here, so I feel like it'll be an easy job. It won't be hard for me.
What was Jalen Tolbert's kind of parting words of wisdom for you as he left, third-round draft pick by the Cowboys for the Jags?
Still talking to him this day, but before he departed, he just made sure I just remember that the goal is to make sure we win, try and get conference championship, trying to get to the bowl game, and just continue trying to change this culture that we have and just build on what we did last year. So that's about really what it was.
Your new quarterback slinging the ball there, 2-year transfer from Toledo. What's it been like in the offseason with those workouts going on?
We had to definitely do some routes on there for me to get used to how he throws the ball, but right around now, I love how he throws. It's kind of an advantage to me, and he's got way better with the playbook, so everything's just kind of rolling.
So the defense, again, is definitely the experienced part of the Jags. What have you seen when you look at that offensive side?
Oh, yeah. When I look at the offensive side of our team, it's actually amazing. Just seeing everybody that we got brought in, some new guys, and then, of course, some older guys, some boys, of course, Jalen Wayne on the side of them. It's kind of like an advantage a little bit. But just knowing who we have, the women that we have, we look forward for this season.
You get to face one of the new teams of the SunBelt Conference at Old Dominion. It comes to Whitley Hancock Stadium this year. Have you really paid much attention to these new schools coming in and kind of seeing what to expect out of them?
Oh yeah, 5 of them are actually new on our schedule. Of course, you got Old Dominion, like you said. We have UCLA, we have Central Michigan, Michigan State, Louisiana Tech. Just knowing the new and upcoming games that we have is actually pretty amazing as well. Different opportunities, better opportunities. So hopefully we want to capitalize on those.
How big is this Nichols game to kind of set the pace for this upcoming season?
I feel like it'll be pretty big as an opening for us. Just see what it takes us, this season. So, just keep our head on straight.
Jalen, I like the Jags as one of my sleeper picks for the West. Who do you see being the second pick that I should be making in the SunBelt West?
I don't really know, but our goal is to definitely get the front runners and just, winning out our side. But we're just trying to make sure we're not out here trying to weather any storms, just trying to meet the storm, and whatever comes with that, then, that's what it is. But whoever's out after us, I don't really know what to say, or who to be,
Leo, thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Joining us on FunBelt Podcast, the ULM student athletes of Zach Woodard and the best name in all of college football, Boogie Knight. Boogie, second team all conference to start off the season. Talk about that and kind of how that's maybe a little bit of a reward for all the hard work you've put in for this upcoming season.
Yeah, it's definitely a reward. I mean, it's always nice to see and get the rewards and see the hard work pay off. Obviously, in my perspective, it's a blessing, but it's not I'm never satisfied with that. I try to not even focus on the individual awards. I'm so focused on this team and what we're capable of doing this year. Each and every day, that's what I wake up my goals. The team goals definitely come before my individual goals.
And what are those team goals that you have for this upcoming year?
The team goals, we've talked about it. We preach it to younger guys, especially being leaders. We try to make it known and set that standard that this team is not like previous ULM teams for the past 20 so years. We're really trying to, the conference is on our mind every day and going bowling and winning a bowl game, setting a standard for this university for following years. That's our goals.
So last season, there's a little bit of chaos at quarterback. This season, it looks like it's Chandler Rogers' fault. How does it feel going in, knowing that you have a quarterback that you've grown accustomed to? I believe he started most of the season at the end of the year, right?
About 16 games.
So now it's almost like you have a veteran quarterback. How does that feel going in?
Yeah, it's a great feeling knowing we got someone like Chandler who he's working hard each and every day, and he's stepped up in that leadership role as one of the leaders in the offense, and that's huge. And for him to get those 6 games last year, that experience is huge. He's got some huge wins under his belt, so that gives him the confidence he needs. And like I said, he's been working hard all offseason, having routes, he's calling routes, all the receivers are getting there, and he's going to be a good leader for this offense, and he's got the talent and capability to help get us where this team goes. He's got the talent to get us where we need to go.
So Zach, we talk all this offense. We can't be anywhere without the offense, without the defense there. What does this Warhawk defense really look like as y'all get ready to break camp here in the next few weeks?
Really more cohesive, just fast and physical, and just making sure that we lock down coverage and just run stopping. Really trying to be a whole package in one.
As we looked around, the past of the players that are coming out of ULM, it was always DBU. But then that secondary, really got the number position. Is someone to really look out for.
Jabari, and it's Jabari?
Jabari.
Yeah, Jabari.
See, don't feel bad. He doesn't know the name of the player that he primary covers. New Orleans does crazy things to us. So, with that said, what are some of the goals that you'll have this year? I mean, obviously, the West is wide open, so obviously, trying to get that West title is first and foremost. But what other goals do you have this season?
Really, that one, winning the conference, winning the whole conference, and then going bowling. That's the two main goals. Going bowling and winning the conference.
So, Terry Bowden, year 2, has he calmed down any? Or is he still like just a little a firecracker?
I think that's just Coach Bowden's personality. Like, he has so much passion in football, and he's so intelligent. We were just talking, like, you really don't know how knowledgeable of the game he is until you get to, like, sit down and talk with him. He's so knowledgeable, and he's got so much on his mind, and he's always got that, like, energy, and almost, like, brightens your day. He's always, like, just happy. He's always got this solid energy, kind of brings, like, the morale, like, everybody around him up.
Well, we have seen the videos this year of him swimming.
I mean, I miss those.
There's the infamous picture of Golf Friday last year. All right, coach, that's pretty cool. And then you're like, my coach is just killing me.
But it's like, as a team, we like it. It's like, because it's like a true players coach. Because like we know at the end of the day, he's not trying to overshadow. He's just trying to bring attention and do everything he does for the program at the end of the day.
New coordinators also on both sides of the ball. What have you seen out of Matt Cubic as he's coming in for the offensive side and then on the defensive side as well?
Yeah, I think the big thing with Coach Cubic is he's like a mastermind. Like, for his age, like the amount of knowledge he has for the game of football, and like he knows when to call plays and how to call them, and call them out of certain formations and different looks, and just very intelligent. He's definitely a people's person. I mean, the players love him, the other coaches love him. Like, he makes practice like enjoyable for everybody. Like, we know how to work hard, but like he's big on like making sure everybody's enjoying it. Like, treat it like it is a job. It's football. It's serious. But like, you gotta enjoy what you do and love what you do each and every day. So I think throughout the spring, like, I click with him a ton. Like, the whole offensive side of the ball loves him.
And new defensive coordinator, what have you seen there?
With him, more of a knowledge and a veteran, more being able to pull a lot of information from stuff he done decades ago or something he did like a year ago, and being able to support it and knowledge into us and just having like a more veteran DC, really.
Both y'all seniors this upcoming year, what do you want your legacy at ULM to be?
I want to, for my legacy, I want it just to be like I set the standard and help change the culture of the program, like change the complete direction. Like I said, the previous ULM, like that's not who we are now. We're trying to set the standard for years to come and like base this program on like hard work and like setting the standard, winning a bowl game, going to the conference this year, just for future references that any new guys coming in and the guys on the team that maybe not upperclassmen yet, but they know the standard and they set it for the young guys, and everybody just comes in with that mindset and those expectations that winning is not enough. Like, conference championship and bowl game championships like those, what this program is based around.
Basically, just pick up back off he said, just bring really respect to the program, honestly, and just like he said, turn the program and try to hit it in these next few years to where ULM, when you hear ULM, you get the respect with it, like, cause it's like that's really the main thing for me.
You know, the West is wide open. Anybody can win the West, and why not ULM? But before you start with the conference, you have a pretty tough game at the beginning of the season. What's it like preparing for Texas?
Yeah, I mean, preparing for a team like that, you know that naturally they're going to be bigger, faster, stronger. It comes down to that. But we have such talented coaches, both on the offensive side, defensive side. Like, our team's going to be there. And we got, I think the biggest thing we got, this team is based on hard work, and we got the right leaders, and the right players, and the right roles. And like I said, that game, at the end of the day, it's just 18 to 22-year-olds playing 18 to 22-year-olds. We're all kids, we're all playing a game, and it just really comes down to who wants it more on that day.
Well, you would do well to cement ULM, your legacy with ULM to defeat Texas. That would be nice if you guys could do that for us. I appreciate that.
I like some simplicity. We're just 18 to 22-year-olds playing a game.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the 100-something thousand that'll be there watching this. No pressure. But the open season, I mean, it's 4 weeks of pretty brutal football. Do y'all just kind of take a step back and when we get the time, as cliche as it may sound, or do y'all kind of say, all right, if we can make it through this, then we're good, when SunBelt actually starts.
Yeah, I think we look at those games more so like we're not afraid of those games. We're looking at those games as opportunities to put ourselves on the map and put ULM on the map. Like we can get a game from Texas. Like I think we have all the talent and potential in the world to get a game like that, and that just sets the tone, sets the standard for what we're trying to accomplish, and it gets everybody on board, both the fans, the younger players, the coaches, the rivals, the media. Everybody will see what ULM's about now. Like see the work that we put in paying off. And comes down like a game like obviously Alabama, like that's one of the toughest teams in the country. But if we can just get our respect in those type of games and show what we can do, then that's what it's all about in those games.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us on FunBelt Podcast. Looking forward to seeing what the Warhawks can do here in 2022.
Thank you, guys.
Jeremy, our first in-person SunBelt Conference Media Days yesterday, or last year, doing it virtually.
Yes.
It's a lot better to be here on Bourbon Street.
I think so.
I mean, it's not good the day after, but definitely while we're here, it's good.
I'm wanted by a couple of establishments. There's some bartenders and some bouncers looking for me. So if anybody asks, I'm not here.
I will point them your direction. You know who joined us, though, while we're in New Orleans?
Who's that?
Noah, from the Daily News Record.
I remember Noah. It's like he appeared on the show not too long ago, right?
He was on the show not too long ago. That is correct. So, Noah, welcome in, man.
Yeah, man. It's been a good time. Good 2 days here.
So, how was your first SunBelt Conference Media Day?
It was a lot better than I expected. I mean, it's really put together really well, and I didn't know really what to expect on that front. It's in a good location, and the food has been spectacular.
Well, you are in New Orleans, where food is spectacular.
In Louisiana, Jeremy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, the whole state of Louisiana. I know Monroe is known for its culinary culture.
More so than Jonesboro.
Okay, well, that's fair enough.
So, did it answer your question, though? Who's winning the East?
Who's winning the East? App State. I'm sticking with App State winning the East.
In the West?
You know, I think there's a dark horse candidate, and it's not Louisiana. Obviously, that's the favorite. I think I'm going with first-year head coach. We're going with Troy.
He likes the Trojans.
That's a good choice.
I agree, but I still think that the road to the West goes through the state of Alabama. And I think, though, the East, still Georgia State.
What you got?
Do you think Georgia State is going to win the East?
Yes.
I have Appalachian State winning the East, but that's all right. Georgia State, who knows? I don't know why you think that.
I don't either, because I feel like I picked them last year too, on the hype of Ben Moore, and that just did not work out. That was a $50 bet that just went flush.
Well, Army made them look silly last year. I think who gets Army this year at the start of the season?
Is it Georgia State?
I think they play them again. Somebody else is.
I know the Warhawks do.
Yeah. It's Coastal Carolina.
Okay.
So that'll be a good test for Coastal Carolina. Nobody really picking Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, I feel like they're just too highly likely to not succeed offensively with that duo being gone. I still think Grace McCall has a good season. I think that the Shots are in the postseason with a 7-8 win season, but I just don't think that they have what it takes to really contend for that East or SunBelt Conference title this year.
How about in the West? Who do you think causes noise? Maybe doesn't win, but creates some problems.
I'm going to defer to Noah on that one first. I want to see what the new guy says of the West.
Hold on, let me take a look at the logos here.
Oh, he's going scientific. He's looking at logos.
No, I think he's just trying to real.
Okay. So I'm still sticking with Troy as my winner. So obviously, which would make noise, but I think another team that's going to make some noise here.
He turns around, staring,
looking at the.
It's from the state you currently reside in. I'm going with Texas State.
Oh, all right. Yeah, you know what? That's not a bad pick.
Viva la Bobcats.
As the dark horse, if they really get things going.
I think that's a good dark horse because they have some nice offensive pieces.
Yes.
They used to be known for their defense, but that's fallen off. I don't know about this year, but I feel this probably this year.
I think that the Cats are still a boom bust type of team. I think that they can they could contend in the West. They could fall flat and be at the bottom. And I really hope that they're at the top. I like head coach Jake Spavital and hope that he can do whatever he can to come back for another SunBelt Conference Media Days next year as the head of Texas State. But it's going to be an uphill battle.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know. They're pretty chill in San Marcos.
Not when it comes to Bobcat football. Not when it comes to Bobcat football. The claws come out when they start talking about the Cats.
That's absolutely true. Do you want to do your parting shots?
Plugs, promos, parting shots as we wrap up from SunBelt Conference Media Day. Noah, kick us off with your plug, promo, and parting shot.
Parting shot. I really like what everyone's had to say this week. It's been a great time. But I think they should just get rid of preseason polls because they obviously don't mean anything.
I'm going to jump on board with that.
Bold take. I disagree because if they didn't have a preseason poll, where else would Jeremy have hope for his Red Bulls?
But why does every coach? So it's called the coach's preseason poll. But why does every coach say it doesn't matter? They discredit it, but yet they're the ones who voted it. So
look, I like that Hilton voted for his team as a first place and then bumped him up into the. I love it. What confidence coming in as a first-year head coach? You say, you know what? Forget how bad we might have been in the past few years for the Eagles. We're winning it all this year.
Here's my thing on preseason polls. I don't like any preseason poll, whether it's the AP coaches poll, whether it's conference polls like this. I really feel like it puts a mindset into people that it sort of resets the team. So it's harder to go down in a poll or just to rise up. Like, so for instance, Texas is always like a top 10 team every year in these preseason polls. It seems like it takes 6 weeks before the national media finally realizes maybe Texas isn't any good.
So are you implying that the FunBelt 5 started by the FunBelt Podcast is another bogus poll?
Maybe a little bit. And I'm part of the culture. I admit it. But if somehow we made it illegal, I would follow that.
I am revoking your voting rights. And I will,
for the good of America,
find a new pollster for the FunBelt 5. Jeremy, give us your parting shot.
My parting shot is last night I watched Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
Because that's what you should do in New Orleans.
Yeah, well, I was tired. And I was watching the movie, and at one point, Shia LaBeouf takes like an enormous rat snake and rescues Indiana Jones from some quicksand by using it as a rope.
Very realistic.
Yeah, and that's when I realized that maybe it was time for that. And that's my parting shot.
The scene from Billy Madison where they're at the game show.
I've never seen Billy Madison.
Me either.
Yes!
So you're outnumbered.
So why don't you come up with another analogy that both of us can appreciate?
I am completely at a loss that neither one of y'all watch Billy Madison.
Oh, well.
I assign that as homework too.
Adam Sandler movies, that's not my thing.
So you don't want to vote in polls. You don't want to watch Adam Sandler movies.
He doesn't want to do it what?
I just had standards and principles.
No, you don't.
I had all those things. Well, they're not evident. I mean, they're not on glowing display, but they're there. Deep down, deep
in the heart of Texas.
Yeah.
My parting shot, guys. We're at the year 2022. Why do we still have to pay $5 for internet access at a hotel when we're already being price gouged over $200 a night? Why?
Where are you staying that you're paying $5 a night for internet service?
I am staying in a hotel that displays a lot of monks, but I will not name.
Okay, I got you.
The said hotel.
All right.
Yikes.
It's not this hotel. It's not the Sheraton.
It is not the Sheraton.
Yeah, the Sheraton has been very, very generous
And accommodating.
with their Wi-Fi.
So you're implying that I should have ponied up and not been so cheap?
You know what? If you go cheap in one area, they're going to find a way to make you pay it.
Much like your polling.
And there it is.
For Dusty Thibodeaux, Warhawk, for Jeremy Harper, Hal Razor, and Noah from the Daily.
Yikes, I don't have a last name out here.
You don't need a last name. You just need to be able to fill out a ballot correctly on the votes. We're the FunBelt Podcast, and we'll be back next week with more mayhem.
मेरा नया घर देखना एकदम ग्रीन बनेगा ग्रीन मतलब बिजली के लिए सोलर पैनल्स लगेंगे, साफ हवा के लिए ग्रीन कवर, नेचुरल कंस्ट्रक्शन मटेरियल्स, वाटर कंजर्वेशन, सब कुछ।
अच्छा, अगर ऐसा है तो ये सपना पूरा करो यूनियन बैंक ऑफ इंडिया के साथ। गो फॉर यूनियन ग्रीन होम लोन, नो अपर लिमिट और इंटरेस्ट पे एडिशनल कंसेशन वाले स्पेशल होम लोन्स जो बने हैं खास ग्रीन होम्स के लिए। बना रहे हो ग्रीन होम तो लो यूनियन ग्रीन होम लोन फ्रॉम यूनियन बैंक ऑफ इंडिया। गुड पीपल टू बैंक विद।